Scriptures show us few ways of generating money. Number one, this is where you have to pay attention. Number one is through generosity. If you are a spiritual man, if you are not spiritual, this may not apply to you. If you are not somebody under God's government, this may not apply to you. But if you call yourself a believer, a spiritual man who is under God's government, then these things are the ways that Scriptures has recommended. The Bible said in Proverbs 11:24-25, it said, there is him that scattereth, yet increaseth. There is him that withholdeth more than his meat, but tendeth to poverty. Verse 25, he said, but the liberal soul shall be made fat. Him that watereth shall by himself be watered unto. So in this kingdom, for you to make money and to profit, you have to be liberal. 2 Corinthians 9, you read from verse 6 to verse 8. Paul was teaching, and he likened our increase to the technology of farming. How a farmer sows few grains and reaps a great harvest. He said, but this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall also reap sparingly. He which soweth bountifully shall also reap what? Bountifully. Verse 7, he showed us that there is a spiritual force that comes in when you become liberal. He said, every man according as he has proposed in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, but for God loveth a cheerful giver. Verse 8 is where the mystery comes in. This is why I said, if you are a believer, see what he said, and God is able to make all grace abound towards you. So when a man becomes liberal, liberality traffics a kind of grace in his direction. And what does that grace do? That you, always having all sufficiencies in all things, may abound in good works. So anybody who believes that grace empowered him is liberal and is committed to good works. That's the sign that this is a believer who is wealthy. Number two, diligent work. Scripture shows is a channel for increasing money. In Proverbs 10:4 and Proverbs 22:29, see the way the Bible puts it. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand. It said, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. If you want to be wealthy, he said, be diligent. Pay attention to details and be consistent. You find many people, it's not enough to give, sir. Giving is one of the legs of the stool. If you only give and you are not diligent, you will end up hating God and your pastor. And this is why we have a problem in church. We keep emphasizing giving, and we don't teach the other things that Scripture reveals. So you find a Christian who goes to work late 20 times out of 24 working days. You find a Christian, they've given him project, 4 out of the 5 projects. He finished last and he came with excuses. But that Christian stands in church and says, Lord, remember my offering. Remember my tithe. Remember, you have a problem, sir. The offering is powerful. Your liberality is powerful. But that's not the only law God gave. There is the law of diligence. Even God himself cannot open doors for you to where you will prosper, because you will bring reproach to his name. That's why I said in Proverbs 22:29, seest thou a man diligent in his business? That's the only one that stands before kings. So you can give and never come to where you should prosper, because diligence has not been added. Number 3, the Bible speaks of wise investment. Matthew 25:14-30. It's too long for us to read, but it's the parable of the talent. He gave one 5, he gave one 2, he gave one what? 1. Which of them prosper? The 2 that invested. The one that didn't invest remained at the same level. So God encourages wise and strategic investment. You should know how to turn money over. That's why you have wisdom. The guy who had 5 traded and got 5 in return. The master came, gave him 10 cities. The guy that had 2 traded, got 4 in return. The master came, gave him 4 cities. That means there is a reward that comes to those who are wise investors. But if you don't invest, guess what happens to you? After a while, the one you have, the Bible said it will be taken from you. It said, take from the guy who has 1 and give to the one who has 10. And they say, Master, this brother already has more than enough. He said, no. In this kingdom, him that has and desires to have, more will be given to him. And they say, him that has not and desires not to have, even the little he has will be taken from him and given to the one who has and desires to have more. So if you are not investing, you are making a statement in the spirit. What is that statement? I don't desire to have. So if you want to increase in money, be liberal. If you want to increase in money, be diligent. If you want to increase in money, be a wise investor. And then number 4, scripture reveals to us integrity. Proverbs 13:11. And I'm still going to talk about integrity. You can cut corners in the world, not in the kingdom. Don't cut corners and come back to God and say, bless me. You will live with a curse. Because there are many people, when it becomes difficult, they cut corners. You will be setting yourself up. It says, as the partridge layeth eggs and is not there to hatch it. It says, so shall be the way of the wicked man. He will labor, and in the season of harvest, he will not be there to inherit it. So don't cut corners. It says, wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished. It says, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. So the kingdom shows us how to increase in resources. This is why I told you last week, build values. Build values. When you have free time, take a course on investment, on financial intelligence, on financial management. It's part of kingdom advancement. Because if you don't have resources, you can't advance kingdom. Cry out. Zechariah 1:17. My kingdom through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad. Some of you sitting here, if your heart is open, the plans you have for God's kingdom, if it is executed, Jesus will come next week. Some of you are seated here, you wish God gave you $10 billion. You will sponsor 100 crusades in 195 nations. You will use it for kingdom. The problem is that you have the money in your heart, you don't have it in your hand. Because you have violated the law that moves it from your heart into your hand. You are not liberal, you are not diligent, you are not a wise investor, and you don't have integrity. God is not a respecter of person. He blesses all of us, but there are systems in the spirit for making that blessing personal.